Hey guys, Adam Rice here, founder and CEO of ISI Elite Training, and I'm here with Charles, our franchise partner in the Austin, Texas market, specifically Cedar Park. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So they're here for Iron You, which is a 6-day fully invasive training on all things ISI. And we say when you leave here, you're gonna be bleeding green. We're gonna change the color of your blood. But all joking aside, it is a intensive 6-day training, and you're learning everything from marketing to operations to how do you go run a pre-sale, how to hire the right team, what roles and responsibilities of each position there are in all things ISI. So Charles, I'll give a little bit of a background. I was fortunate enough to actually work with you through the entire discovery process, which is awesome and very rare. But tell us a little bit about how you found out about ISI Elite Training, and ultimately, why did you decide to go with ISI?
Yeah, so no, great question. So, so I'm a longtime finance executive at Dell, and so I've kind of been thinking, I think I'm hitting a midlife crisis here a little bit, but like, what do I do next, right? And I have no intention of leaving Dell anytime soon, but like somewhere in the near future, I would like to be doing something different. And like owning my own business has always been part of something I wanted to do. Yeah. And so honestly, I looked at a ton of different businesses, everything, and some of this is like cracks me up that I was even looking at these, but we literally looked at everything from like, and I can't even believe this, is like a heating and air conditioning place to a restaurant to fitness type stuff. And I kept gravitating towards fitness. Right. Like, and part of that was like, I'm a runner and I always have been. So like part of it was just me, right? Like, I'm like, geez, if I could do my hobby for a job, like how cool would that be? Right. And like, this is why I crack up about the air conditioning. If you knew my wife and I, you'd be like, you guys are the last people that should be doing that type of business. But I did keep gravitating back towards fitness. And it's because, and I have a bit of a funny story. So, so I'm a corporate finance guy at Dell. And I remember my son he came to like a, bring your kid to work day, right? Yeah. And so he spent the day with me. He's probably like 6 or 7. And, kids have this ability to like break things down into like just the basics, right? Yeah. So he spent the day with me, and we got done. He's like, Dad, I see you go to meetings all day. You talk to a bunch of people. You're on the phone. Like, but what is it you really do? And I'm like, well, I'm in finance, Dylan. Like, it's my job to make sure the business makes good decisions so we're profitable and blah, blah, blah. And so he thinks for just a second. And he's like, so your job's to make Michael Dell even more rich? And I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of truth to it, right? And so to be honest, and I don't mean to sell, Dell's like a great place, and we do a ton of good stuff for the community and the environment and things like that. So I don't mean to sell it, but there's some truth to what he said, right? And so it kind of just left a mark, right? I'm like, is this like what I wanted, my life to be known for, And so from that moment on, he had a big impact to me. Like, I want to do something that helps people. And so even with my Dell career, I've tried to pivot, like where I do a lot of mentoring and stuff like that to help people. And I'm like, well, you know what? Like my next phase of something, I want to do something that actually helps people, right? And I see in my own world where, fitness has done massive things for me, right? Like when I'm down, I know you know this too, right? Like it helps you just power through stuff that, no matter what's going on, and for me, it's running, right? Like that's my thing. But if I'm having a bad day, if I go out for a run, I usually come back in a much better mood. I'm much happier, and I have a great core group of friends. I'm on a running team, and like we share so much, right? And I'm kind of bringing this full circle, but so that got me interested in fitness, right? Because I'm like, it checks all of my boxes. And then so I met with a bunch of different fitness businesses, and honestly, I mean, you probably think it takes a long time because I felt like we spent a lot of time with you but we wanted to be sure this is what we wanted. Sure. But it was actually an easy decision compared to everyone else, right? And there was 2 things that I think that made that decision easier for us. One was you guys, to be honest. Like, you were super patient with us. I didn't feel like you were selling anything. You were literally trying to make a match, right? Yeah. And that's what we wanted. Like, you want people that are right for you, and I want the people that are right for me. 100%. And I felt like that was the approach that you guys did, right? And other people, like, I felt like I was being sold, like, I mean, just crazy stuff, to be honest. And so that was the first thing. Like, you guys, like, I thought were awesome. The second piece of that, though, I really like the focus on like team community, right? Like that was huge for me. And I talk about this, with my running team all the time. Like, I wake up at 4:30 in the morning to go running. Is that fun? Not always, but
Right.
I go hang out with my buddies. We all hold each other
Yeah.
accountable. Like I would not be waking up at 4:30 if it was by myself.
Yep.
Like hardly ever. And so I like that aspect of ISI, right? Like
Yep.
it's right in the center of what you do. It's the high fives, you're meeting people at the door, you kind of build this whole experience, and that's different, And so that's what sold me. So there's a
I love it.
long answer to your question,
No,
but
it's great.
that's
It's
it.
great. I know when we were going through the process, one of your fears and your wife's fears was like, he's already working so
Right,
much.
yeah.
How's he going to take this on? And I know you're obviously planning for the future ahead, and looking at doing multiple locations and building a portfolio and getting started on that now, which I think is really
Yep.
smart. Now that you've been going through the process, operations is starting to pick up. What does that look like? How have you been able to balance
Yeah.
full-time corporate America with launching a location?
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, it is a lot. I have my normal job, or I shouldn't say my normal job, my other job,
Yeah.
it is very demanding. I have a crazy schedule. I work a lot of hours. The reality is it's working. And interestingly enough, I actually feel like it's made me more effective in my other job because it's forced me to focus on what's really, really important. And to be honest, I think it's pulled me out of the weeds. It's made me more effective leader because I don't sweat the little stuff anymore because honestly, I don't really have that luxury anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of forced me to be almost a better leader in my other job because, I have a limited time to do both jobs. And so it's been actually really good, to be honest, but it's not easy. Like, I mean,
course not.
I have a day job and I have a night and weekend
Yeah.
job, but the ISI thing's been great because I feel like I'm learning stuff I never, I'm working with general contractors. Like I don't know anything about that stuff,
Yeah.
but it's awesome. Like I'm learning about it, I'm working with licenses, and different things. And it was a little intimidating at first, but then it doesn't take very long. You're like, okay, these guys are no smarter than I am. Like
Yeah.
I don't have this background, but like I can think things through, and I understand. You just build. A lot of it's about just building relationships, right? Because you kind of figure out who you can trust and who's maybe you're not comfortable working with. And I felt like I have those skills. I've been a long time.
Yeah.
I've been in the working force a long time,
Yep.
so I picked up a few things, and so it's been good. But it's hard. Like there's
Yeah.
a lot going on, but it's exciting though.
I think a lot of people's fear too is like fitness. I've never owned fitness. I've never even worked in fitness.
Yeah.
How have you seen kind of your skill sets transfer from being in corporate America finance over to being an entrepreneur and fitness?
Yeah. It's a lot of the same skills, right?
Yeah.
It's so I'm a finance guy. So first of all, I'm like analytical. This is how I
Yep.
do. This is how I've just grown up,
Right.
right? In
Yeah.
the working world. But so all of that stuff, it's super transferable. Honestly, no matter what you're doing, like you use data to make decisions. And what's most important though is like your ability to work with people and you
Mhm.
get a strong team around you and you've got them in the right seats, right? Like I feel like if you build the team, I don't have to know everything. I've got way smarter people. I mean, you've met a couple of the people on my team.
Yeah.
They're way smarter than I am.
Yeah.
And I get those people in the right seats. I set the vision and direction, and honestly, I get out of the way and
Yeah.
just let them go do their thing, right? And so that's like no different than my other job. Like that's exactly what I do
Yeah.
at Dell. Like I have tons of people that are way smarter than me, and my job is exactly that: set the vision, help them break down barriers, and then literally get out of the way and let them do their job, right? Like that's the
That's
best way to be
100% what it
effective.
is. How long have you been in corporate America for?
Mm.
Over 20 years,
Oh, yeah.
right? Yeah. So now, like, what was the hardest decision? Because, I mean, that's a long time,
It
right? To
is.
be in something and then to pivot, especially, I'm sure you've thought about opening a business 10 years ago, 15 years ago. So what has been kind of the most interesting thing crossing that line, overcoming any fear that was there, and
Yeah.
now you're on the other side of it and in it?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, I don't have any intentions of leaving Dell,
Right.
like anytime real soon.
Yeah,
Probably
yeah.
like 5 years or something,
Yeah.
So, it's interesting. I talked to my neighbor who actually, like, super long story short, like his role, he was an executive at this grocery company that's in our area, and his job got eliminated, right? And so,
Mhm.
he kind of set the mold for me because he's like kind of like where I was, we're similar ages, he's like, well,
Yeah.
I honestly know I want to go get back on the, the crazy
Right.
thing. He's like, I've got opportunity here. Like, let
Yeah.
me go take care of it. So it was kind of good to see his journey, because I'm like, and he told me this, he's told me something very similar. Because I said, I'm like, geez, I go, do you wish you would have done it when you were younger? He's like, I honestly know I had the skill set back then, but he's like,
Right.
like similar to, he's pointing to me, to you, like, we've learned a lot in our, decades in the business world that
100%.
just make us much more effective in dealing with people, making decisions. So from that regard, like I had some help, right? Because I saw this guy kind of go through what
Right.
I'm looking about. Other than I kept my other job, that's maybe a little more tricky. But I saw him do it, and he's crazy successful already. And so I'm like, you know what? I'll give this a try. And it's, if I'm ever gonna do it, it's got to be about now, because
Yeah.
not getting any younger, right? So
Awesome.
but it's working out really well. And I think my roles in corporate America have been well. There's things that for sure don't know, need to
Yeah.
learn, but like, do I think we'll be successful? Like,
It's a million times easier than probably what you're doing at an executive level for Dell,
yeah,
though.
I don't know. It's just different, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you're dealing with people a lot more, which maybe, I don't know. I mean, I think at the end of the day,
it's all
specifically
people,
in
right?
this, it's you're never going to be successful if you can't lead people,
Right.
So I'm curious, what do you're on essentially day 1.5 of Iron U here of this week. What are you most excited about in bringing ISI to Cedar Park? And then what do you kind of envision your guys' community feeling like?
Yeah. It's the team thing, right? Like I mentioned, like, it's for real. Like, I do want to have, I don't feel like, I mean, yes, I want to make money, right?
Of
But like,
course.
for me, I want to have this opportunity to like change people, right? And give them
Yeah.
the opportunities. Like I see it so often, like, so I'm 52, right? I'm
Yeah.
not super young, but I see so many people my age or older, or even, my parents, that they haven't lived a healthy lifestyle,
Yeah.
and they are paying the price big time
Yep.
now, right? And like, for my age, I'm like quite healthy,
Yeah.
and like, I do stuff that other people can't. And again, I don't mean it to be about me, but I'm just like, I'd love to be able to give people that opportunity to have
100%.
like a long, healthy lifestyle, right? And
Right.
there's so many people that don't do that, and if I can have a business that helps with that, like, that's satisfying for me, and if I can make some money along the way, like, awesome, and it gives
Love
me
that.
something to do after I retire, to keep, like, I would have a hard time not doing something,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
so, again, I'm kind of set myself for a longer term, but like, I wanted to kind of get it up and running now, because I feel like I can do it.
Yeah.
And so that's the
That's
plan.
cool. What does success look like to you?
Yeah, that's it. That's so interesting, right? Like, because I'm a data guy. So like,
Yeah.
it's funny, in this like model, or this ISI world, for me, the numbers, like, I mean, they're there, right?
Yeah.
But for me, like, I want to, it's kind of like what I was saying, like, I want to be able to have an impact on people. I want to be able to support my, attract great people I work with.
Yes.
And so the numbers, like, are almost coming second to me, which is weird, because that's not the world
Yeah.
I live in, doing
Right.
my day job. But the success, like, I would love to have I don't want to have a ton of locations, because I do
Yeah.
want to actually enjoy some retirement.
Yeah.
So I don't,
Yeah.
I don't want it to be necessarily a full-time crazy job, but the ability to impact people, be successful, have a lot of members that, can't stop talking about ISI and our Austin area. And the Austin area is, I think, awesome for a fitness
Yeah.
business, right? It's a
Yep.
super fit city to start with. It's just ingrained in like, literally everyone I know runs
Yep.
marathons, they race, mountain bikes or road bikes, or they do triathlons, and it's just ingrained in our which is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, so I think, and it's booming, right? Like, it's
Yeah,
I can't
exploding.
picture a better market to do stuff like this, and so it's good.
I guess jumping into, I don't know what the route your neighbor went to, but as far as getting into a franchise, right? So first step in entrepreneurship, being in a franchise, how has your experience been? Obviously from the support here at ISI from headquarters, but also like how has it been to like have, this is how you do this is how you do this, versus trying to start it from the ground up?
Well, we were just talking to my group that's here about this. So I talked to a lot of people. So I have a friend that set up a bar, like,
Yeah.
fitness,
Yeah.
but She did it like from scratch, and I talked to her. She's like, Charles, don't do it. She's like, literally, you'll spend hours picking out light switch covers, like literally everything. It'll just drown you. She's like, don't do it. And so working with you guys has been fantastic, right? Like there's all kinds of things. Wasn't even on my radar that I needed to be thinking about, or like I can't even picture doing this on your own, And you guys have been super supportive, like awesome team. Like I mean, I honestly can't say enough. So it's been really good, and I feel like I can pick up the phone, call anyone here, and get the support I need.
I love that. So our core values, we got 5: bring the energy, do the right thing, embrace change, we earn our results, we rise as one. Which one of those specifically resonates with you the most, and why?
Yeah, I like the we rise as one, and it gets back to kind of the team thing, right? Like that's why I picked ISI. That's, like I said, my running groups had a big impact on me because it's a team and we're together all the time. And so for me, like that's what I want to bring, to this business and to the area that we live in. And so that's what I think, really sticks with me.
That's awesome. I mean, you're also a father and husband.
Yeah.
How has it been with the kid? Are the kids excited?
They are. So my 14-year-old son, who's like, it's funny. Like my kids are two. So I have a 19-year-old. She's gonna be a sophomore at the University of Texas. Crazy smart, works really hard, super studious.
Yeah.
Then I have Dylan, my 14-year-old son, that's like great kid, not any of those things. But he's all excited because he wants to work at ISI. Because he's like, I'm gonna go hang door hangers, like I'm gonna do whatever. Awesome. And so he's really excited about it. My daughter's actually, I think, excited about it too. It's something new and just that's different. Awesome. And my kids are super fit, and they're all into, they're eat healthier than I do, and do all that stuff. So for them, it's like super cool.
That's cool. Well, you guys heard it first here with Charles from Austin, Texas, Cedar Park. Super excited for you guys, and looking forward to you guys launching.
Yeah, thank you.